The Niagara Pumphouse Arts Centre is proud to present the exhibition, Textured Chromatic Delights, Naturally.
First of all, the chromatically relates to the color aspect, which is, I would say, one of the strong characteristics of this work when you see all the pieces together. Color would be one of the characteristics. The other part is the texture. I'm really fascinated by forests, I'm fascinated by water, and I'm fascinated by rocks, believe it or not. So the texture part leads to me to a lot of experimentation in terms of different ways, especially with acrylic paint. You can play around with all sorts of added textures, collage.
Colin tries to capture the details in everyday life.
Most of my art is based on natural subject matter. Not all, but most is on natural subject matter. But also, my wife and I, and a friend of mine, we've been going back and forth to Mexico for the past 12 years. And down there, I gained an even greater appreciation of the natural world. So as an artist, I mean, I guess more as a spiritualist, more as a citizen, ecology and whatnot, I really got into the ecological movement and I guess our connection with nature, and mostly the interconnection and the fact that most people look at nature in our modern world and just ignore it, see it as something we can be used, but not something that has a spirituality and a life of its own.
Colin looks to take the ordinary and turn it into the extraordinary.
I really find that all my art begins with a fairly realistic drawing, believe it or not. And what that does, it lets me really understand what is in front of me. But then the intuitive creative part takes over, where you actually look at something and as an artist, you start to design in your head, which way you're going to take it and how you're going to express certain specific aspects. So I begin with like simplification, try and simplify, try and look at aspects of the complex thing, especially a forest in front of you. What's speaking to me the most? Where is the focus going to be? What am I going to leave out? What am I going to add in? And how am I best going to be able to let that particular scene speak to both me and the viewer?
The exhibition, Textured Chromatic Delights, will be on display at the Niagara Pumphouse Arts Centre until May 31st. In Niagara, you're watching The Source.